Running commentary. We are exploring listening to albums. We sat down and we listened to the artist's vision and concept. Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever. Jonathan Preston from Pop Scene had asked us to review this album. I knew just a couple of the tracks from this album and they were not hits in England, and that's really quite important to note. Released in 1989, it was notable for the fact that it was without the Heartbreakers. So the singles from this album, Free Falling and I Won't Back Down, are really triumphant Americana hits. The overall theme of this album is something that works very well when driving on an open highway. I think if I was stuck in traffic with this album, I'd probably do an REM and abandon the car. When I think of Free Falling, I think of, sports bars, and I think of middle-aged white spread. That's what I think of. I think of white guys that probably haven't got anything better to do. They've got a couple of hours away from the kids. They're reliving their youth at some kind of college basketball game. Free falling as in just giving it up. You are giving something up, aren't you? Isn't that what, I don't know. It's one of those interesting things, isn't it? It's like how many guys that we knew in college are still exciting us late 30s, early 40s. Are they in free fall? Is that the question? Do I have something against that? Is there something wrong with it? Does that matter? But this is who this record appeals to. It's like, hey, raising a pint and watching your favorite team lose desperately to the greater side. And I don't know, isn't that what middle age is about? Love is a Long Road, and the third song is something which is notable. It carries on with the theme, and I'm still kind of grooving on the two singles, and I'm okay with them. They're not going to be played at my funeral. However, Love is a Long Road does continue with the energy that's necessary to sustain this album, at least on the first side. Running Down a Dream, again, at this point, I've heard 3 songs already from the group, and now I'm thinking, okay, there's not any real substance here. There's no kind of thought process necessary to listen to this music. It just sort of happens, and that's okay. There are no lyrics that are grabbing me. For this, it's just very kind of light and airheaded. It doesn't, to me, require a great deal of concentration to listen to this music, which makes it perfect for driving. There's nothing here that's going to make me pull over onto a hard shoulder to actually contemplate the depth of the material. With the track Feel a Whole Lot Better, the thing that's notable about it is what I think is a guitar rip from Needles and Pins by the Searchers in the early 60s. This music is referred to as adult contemporary. It's sometimes called stoner rock. Again, no concentration required, just kind of lounging on the sofa or sofa surfing. This would be the perfect album to do that to. It was acknowledged that Sam Smith's Stay With Me had similarities to I Won't Back Down, and a lawsuit was awarded accordingly. As we get on to the second side with You're So Bad, it's not so bad, but it's not so good. It sits right in this central area. I'm driving and I'm on cruise control. There is nothing on my mind. This is a great album to just not think about anything to. The Apartment song, again, does nothing for me. It doesn't stand out. I've already had 3 songs of a very similar ilk. I don't need another one. All Right For Now, I did think made a difference on the second side. This was a song that had made a far greater impression on me. I really felt like, oh, wow, this is actually doing something different and is trying to capture my attention and is going in a different direction. What worries me is the 80 million people that bought this record, what was it that they were looking for? This album kind of sits nicely as a sort of Labor Day, Memorial Day backdrop for barbecues, but this is not life-changing music, and for me, music has to be something which matters. If somebody's taken the time and energy to assemble a band and a production unit, you'd hope that they'd have some substance to the work that they do. A Mind with a Heart of Its Own? Great title, crappy song. Zombie Zoo, I do enjoy as kind of a, oh, we're so wild and crazy in 1989 with our acid-washed t-shirts and our stone-washed jeans and our bleach blonde Staten Island hair. So I'll give it half of a point as being in keeping with the time. This is not against Jonathan Preston. This is not really against Tom Petty. It's just that this album kind of doesn't matter to me as an Englishman. There are going to be legions of American fans for whom this record was very important and is relevant and matters to their daily lives. I'm not one of those people. I wasn't in America when this was a hit record, so all of my experience with the hits here are as a result of living in the United States, and there is some affection for Free Falling and I Won't Back Down. Final mark for Full Moon Fever is 60%. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, recommend it to friends, post comments. Also, if you have an album that you'd like to hear reviewed, we welcome your requests.